40 days to go. Day 51, 40 days to go on the 90-day challenge in learning Korean. 40 days, that's almost 6 weeks. Almost 6 weeks, that's not a lot of time. However, I am confident. I feel good today, and I'll tell you why. Because, and I guess my experience of the last couple of days has confirmed that the major factor in language learning is interest. You have to be interested in the language, interested in the content, in the lessons you're doing. You have to be interested. Interest means enjoyable. And now I have received my second transcript of the Kim Young-ha podcast. And so I've now gone through the first one. I'm starting the second one. And there's a total of 53 episodes in his podcast. I don't know if they will all be transcribed. I don't know if I'll have time to study them all. But I have enough content there, interesting content, to keep me going. The first one was about, it's about him and books that he reads, and he discusses books. Yukio Mishima's The Golden Pavilion was the first one. The second one is J.D. Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye, and there's 53. So I don't know how many different works he's going to talk about in Korean, and it's going to be great. I may lose interest in it as I go along, but for the time being, that's looking promising. And then I discovered in our library at Link, I should add that we're going to be adding those to our library at Link. And when I've got 5 or 6 or 7 of them in there, I'm going to approach Mr. Kim, and I'm going to say, look, first of all, here are the transcripts. You can use them if he has any use for them. And here's what we've done. And if he has no objections, then we will continue to load them up. And if he says, no, I don't want you to do that, then we'll have to take them down. So that's what we're going to do. But I also discovered in our library a movie. Someone had uploaded a movie called the 200-Pound Beauty Movie. So the movie's there, and the audio and the text. And so if I get tired of the somewhat drier, if you want, podcast on literature, I can then go into the movie. So I've got enough, what looks to be enough interesting content, and there's other stuff in our library. I can always go back to reading The Chosen Elbow, but there's no audio there. I got enough to keep it going. So I know that whereas I was concerned with Korean that I wouldn't find enough interesting content, I now got more than enough. An embarrassment of riches, as we say. The only thing that's holding me back is the Russian, because this whole issue surrounding the Crimean problem, the Ukrainian problem, which is not very much fun if you're sitting in Kiev or Donetsk or the Crimean worrying about your future. But it is an interesting phenomenon to follow, and there's so much different news and commentary and stuff. And, and it also, I'll just finish on that. We've got such a great community at Link. I'm going to be talking to Korean members tomorrow, Evgeny from St. Petersburg, and then Elena from the Ukraine over the weekend. They're members who have created content for us in Russian on everything from daily life to grammar to you name it. And very helpful and nice people. But I'm talking to Sergey, who lives in Belarus, who's studying, he speaks a number of languages, English, German, I can't remember them all, who's studying Italian. And he says, I'm looking for a kind of interesting content that's not too difficult. Have you got any suggestions? And I said, well, you should really try the Alle 8 della Sera from Radio 2 in Italy. Because they have these wonderful podcasts on history, on art, on so many different things. And so, lo and behold, I'm sitting at my desk at 5 in the evening, which is probably 6 in the morning his time. And I get a little note, my Skype note pops up in Italian. He says, I found Alle 8 della Sera. It's fantastic. I can understand most of it. Grazie, thank you, and stuff like that. That's our community. People helping each other, sharing content. For example, I have my discussion with Sergey for half an hour. At the end of it, he writes down all of the phrasing that I got wrong, and then he records it. That's 6 minutes of recording of him reading all those phrases that I got wrong so that I can study them and listen to it and learn from it. So this is the world of language learning today. People from Belarus, Russia, Brazil, Japan, China, whatever, sharing their language, their experience, helping each other, cheering each other on. I get statements on my wall at Link, thanking me, first of all, that finally language learning has become enjoyable, congratulating me for I reached a milestone in Korean in terms of known words and stuff. This is the world. My classroom is the world. It's amazing. So I feel very positive. And tonight, the Vancouver Canucks are on TV. They'll get beaten again, so that'll dampen my mood a bit. But right now, I'm very glad that I have a lot of fascinating content ahead of me. So I think the next 40 days, I'll be able to make some progress